నమస్కారం. ఖండితమై వృక్షంబు తిరిగి మొలచినట్లు, క్షీణుడైన సోముడు అభివృద్ధి చెందినట్లు, పునర్నవం సహజం సహజం లోక సామాన్యం, తిమిరాంతకమై జ్యోతి ప్రకాశించినట్లు. Like the plants of a tree continue to regenerate, like the moon grows into fullness every month, like the lamp bringing its light and brightness to destroy the darkness, Punarnavam, renewal, is nature's way. It's the only path of life. Let's embrace it and accept it as the only way to life. Punarnava, a beautiful verse in Telugu by Dr. Sumitra Veluri. Thank you, Dr. Anupama Kailash, for helping me find this extraordinary, exquisite Telugu gem of a poem. Namaskaram. Natyarambha welcomes you back to Punarnava Facebook Live here. Punarnava, finding pathways to renewal and rejuvenation. A 4-day series of learning from the life stories of experiences and insights of artists. Today is the last day. Over the last 3 days, we've had Dr. Sonal Mansin, Rama Bharadwaj, and Anita Ratnam. And we've all had extraordinary takeaways from their stories of experiences, life stories, and insights. When we were curating this series, my team unilaterally decided that they had to have me as one of the storytellers on this Punarnava series. So when your team also happens to be your students, what happens to you as a teacher? You just surrender and accept their demands. So here I am, Ananda Shankar Jayant, sharing my own story for Punarnava Facebook Live at Natyarambha. Like a good dancer, I have cast myself in my own production and series. But I had a small request of my team. I've said whoever interviews me will be a young artist, a young dancer, and an entrepreneur. So here I am, the interviewee, inviting and welcoming the interviewer, my beautiful young student, Sneha Magapu, a senior IT professional, an arts entrepreneur, co-founder, partner in crime for Natyarambha, and she's been backstage for all our online endeavors that we've been trying. So Sneha, welcome. From back screen, from behind screen, from off screen to on screen, welcome to Punarnava at Natyarambha. Okay, over to you. Shoot.
Namaskaram, Akka. What a rare privilege of interviewing my illustrious guru. And all of you here already know her, so I really don't want to do a long formal introduction. But I'm just going to say one line. She's one of India's finest dancers, choreographers, dance scholars, writers, speakers, and a Padma Shri awardee. And for me, she symbolizes joy and strength, and that is why we had to have her speak about her own life story today at Punarnava. And more than everything else, she is my beloved guru. We've, as Akka said already, that we've been partner in crime. It's more than a guru-shishya relationship. We've kind of been partners on this endeavor as well. So what an honor, Akka. Welcome you to Punarnava as well.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you so much.
Yeah. A guru is not someone who holds the torch for you. He or she is the torch. That's what Ananda Akka has been for me. I, among all the other girls, have spent countless mornings, at Akka's home studio as she lovingly makes us filter coffee, C for coffee, customized for each one of us, mind you. It's not just the warmth of that coffee, but also, her unfailing, consistent, positive attitude she brings every morning to the rehearsal space that shapes most of our days. I wonder, were you born like this, Akka? What shapes your rosy outlook? Like, what is your life silver lining?
We're all born like this. We're all born happy. I think that's the truth of life. We're all born extraordinarily happy children. But I think somewhere in the pathway of our lives, we pick up other things. but it helps for you to choose the right words for your life. So two people made a huge difference in my life. My mother, Subhashini Shankar, who would say it's all right long before it was said on Bollywood, all is well. she would she used to say it's all right, and that was a lesson that I learned very early in life. To say it's all right and look a challenge in the eye. The second person who really who hates being talked about, but I can't not talk about him, Jayant, my husband, who taught me to pull back from the eye of a challenge. I pull back from it and look at it through the prism of your own blessings. So when you're in the middle of the eye of a challenge, it's like an vortex. It kind of pulls you down. See, he taught me to pull out of it, look at it through the prism, look at it as something from being on the outside, look at it through the prism of your blessings, and then make the choices of your life. And hence my title, C for Choice.
Oh, wonderful. I'm missing being at the class already. So, so let's go back to the beginning, Akka. Yeah.
Okay.
C for childhood.
Okay.
So today you're a bureaucrat and have a PhD in tourism and culture and are an acclaimed speaker. But many people may not know that you never went through a formal education system like all of us do.
Ayyo, do you have to put it out?
At the age of 11, you joined Kalakshetra, which is a full-time residential dance school. And when you were surrounded by all these kids who dropped out of school to kind of make it to Kalakshetra, you still decided to continue with your education and you wrote your exams privately. How did you make that choice so early in your life?
Uh, See, I went to Kalakshetra when I was 11. My parents, now I look back, I'm like, how did they ever think of sending a 11-year-old, a high-performing science student wanting to be a doctor from convent school, deciding to go and, be a dancer? But once I went there, my guru Rukmini Devi Arundale, she was very keen that I not be a part-time student, but I be a full-time student of Kalakshetra, which is almost from 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening. And I was in high school, right? So she, as I said, I had made a promise to my father, because when I told my father that I wanted to join Kalakshetra, he looked at me and wrung his hands in great dismay, and he said, "Ayo, will you at least be a high school graduate?" So that promise held me. I made that promise that I'll definitely at least be a high school graduate. And Kalakshetra, as you rightly said, was a full-time dance school. But I somehow always had this feeling that I must have a proper education. Maybe it's a middle-class upbringing, maybe whatever. But this compulsion to have an education was always there inside me. And hence I chose this path to do a private metric, a private pre-university from Patrachar Vidyalaya, and a commerce graduation from Delhi University. Now, why did I do that? Is because very early I realized, while I was in Kalakshetra, where dance was so immersive and so intensive, and I was almost planning to make dance, breathe dance, sleep dance, live dance, I realized that it's not going to be easy. And hence I said, I must equip myself with an education. Absolutely. So that's what happened, full-time dancing in Kalakshetra and a private education private education through correspondence course. So it was this compulsion to stay and have something to fall back on. The same story continued later when I joined the services also.
Yeah, we'll come back to that, Akka. I think
done. I'll wait for you.
After Kalakshetra, you step into this world and you came back to Hyderabad and started your journey as a dancer and set up your institution, Shankar and the Kalakshetra, which we are all part of. But to be fair, there wasn't really a big Bharatanatyam scene in Hyderabad at that time. And to be accepted in the dance world, you had to make your regular appearances in, say, for Chennai. So what were the challenges of being outside the Chennai scene, yet trying to be part of the fraternity and, build a dance career? Can you talk to us? Because a lot of people are in this situation today. Yeah.
See, I came back from Kalakshetra when I was 17. 6 years of being in Kalakshetra. And I chose to be a teacher at the age of 17. So this, what you said about Hyderabad not being a space, yes, it is not, today it's a large performing space, but then there were very few of us here. And it helped to be few. It helped because then when you don't have any set patterns to follow, and hence you set your own patterns. So in a way, as I said, a blessing in disguise, wherein you can push you can push the bar of how you want to look at dance differently. So those choices were thrown at me willy-nilly through life, as well as the fact that I had this very strong mother who said, now you have to teach. You have to get into teaching. So exactly 1 month after coming back from Kalakshetra, I got into teaching. Wow. Yes, see, for Chennai was there because you're a Bharatanatyam dancer. You have to go there and show yourself. But again, my mother came and rescued me. And she said, you don't need to be the tail of the tiger. You can be the head of the cat. So I said, okay. So I grew here. I grew my experience. I grew my training. I added on training. I added on kuchipudi. I added on choreography. I tested myself. I tested choreography. I tested teaching. All this was happening in a nice, comfortable space. And I was also not boxed in by the framework of what is expected of a performer. So I think by being outside, I was able to have those blessings and to look at it from a different prism. And I think that helped. And when I went back, I didn't go immediately back to Chennai to perform. I went back laterally at a level where I was really not clawing my way up. So I think it helps that when you're outside the existing format, is to grow yourself, differently, interestingly, and get yourself into a niche that you can bring to the platform. So I think that is.
See, there goes again counting your blessings, right? So,
right.
So you've always been a big proponent of pension than passion. I think you talked to all of us about this. So having this financial safety net, so that you have the luxury of truly indulging in your arts and not depend on it for survival. I mean, I know this is a controversial topic, but then I personally relate to this because I have done the same. So so you chose to then prepare for the fee for civil services exam and you passed with flying colors and went on to become one of Indian Railways first female officers. Many of them
not
may
first,
not know the story.
First. Not first.
One of the first.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. But so you chose to have two parallel careers and, both demanding in their own ways. And this meant taking away some precious time from the art and sometimes also cutting corners at your job, let's be fair. So how did you manage this successfully, especially given this unhealthy stigma in the field of arts for not being taken seriously, for not being a full-time dancer? So that's one side. And also, Abba, enough of this dance. Did this thought ever cross your mind?
That's a lot of questions in one question. Typical students ask you such difficult questions. Okay, let me rewind back. After I came back from Kalakshetra, as I said, I was in the space where I wanted dance to feed my spirit, feed my body, feed everything, completely. And then, I realized that the outflow for dance is far higher than the inflow for dance, even today. And if you're a young and up and coming dancer, you're never going to be paid for all the expenditure that is part and parcel of the world of dance. Costumes, lights, makeup, orchestra, travel, publicity. I mean, the
list is endless. Yeah,
it's endless. And I realized that I was dipping into the next nest egg of my middle class parents, and I said, this won't do. This won't take me far. And hence, I decided again to add other avatars to myself, extend how to stay with the dance, coming to it from another space. So what I did is I realized the dance was feeding my spirit, but I needed to feed my body and feed my family later from a different space. Because dreams can be rose tinted, but life has other colors and you must address it. And hence what I did is I decided to go back to my education. I decided to go back to Osmania University for two reasons. I went back to do a master's. Two reasons. One is of course, to add to my education, and to really understand what is college life all about. I had never bunked college, you see, so I went back to college to learn how to bunk college. So when I was there on the campus of Osmania University, working for my master's, I saw friends preparing for the Union Public Service Commission exams. I had no clue what the exams were. And I took the exams for a lark almost, absolutely irritating my mother. She was dismayed. She was angry. She was irate. And she said, this is the end of your dance. All 6 years of your training, Kalakshetra, all the sacrifice, you will sacrifice it at your desk job. You will give it up at the desk job. You'll ring a bell, peon will bring a file, and that will be the end of your dance. So, so I promised her, and I said, no, I will continue to dance. So I sat for the exams, and I cleared the exams, Indian Railway Traffic Service. I burst through a very male bastion of, I call it mustachioed, macho, and rather male. I was the first lady officer of the Indian Railway Traffic Service in South Central, one amongst very few in the service. And here on South Central Railway in Sikandrabad, this whole area, this whole idea of being in hierarchy, absolutely, it has a magnetic thrall. You're in service, it has a different thrall. So I was completely blown away by mainline train operations, hierarchy, decision making. I mean, young 20-year-old, early 20s, you're making huge decisions. You're answerable for so many people, even train accidents for that matter, people management. So all this, and I was completely in its thrall. And suddenly something came to me. Well-meaning friends actually pulled me aside and said, now that you've arrived, enough of your dance, stop it. Why are you dancing? All this. So, because I think, all of us as artists who are in the workspace, I think we all come up with this stereotyping that is thrown at us, organizational stereotyping that expects you to be there full time. This, you said dance full time, it happens at every workspace. Even in your workspace, you say, why are you doing something else? Why are you not here 24/7 and maybe 48/7 if you can? But they ran in to determine me because I made those choices. I decided to navigate and negotiate. All of us do it. We are constantly navigating requests for permission. How many times have you not requested me for permission to escape rehearsal, Sneha? So I did it both ways. So you negotiate that. So what I think we did then, again, I made the choice. I made the choice to stay in both areas. Like a good railway officer, I made the choice to stay on 2 tracks. I made that choice to stay on 2 tracks. Sorry for the metaphor. I can't help it. And I think
absolutely.
No, I think what I had done, fine. I think what you're asking me is, I had released my passion dance from the overwhelming burden of it being of a single monetizable career choice. And I think that helped. Yeah. So I think what you asked me is, yes, people will throw these things at you that, hey, you're not in it full time. But hey, how does it matter what people think of you? You decide your life. You have to choose the pathway for yourself. If you think this is your pathway and it's working for you, go for it.
Exactly. And I think also this whole being in 2 tracks has helped me, kind of cross bleed the strengths across these disciplines. And I'm sure it's been the same.
Yeah, as because career feeds, you must make that clear choice, because there are times when your career feeds the body and passion feeds the soul. I've always believed in that. So it's very rare that, again, I'll go back to my favorite tennis metaphor. It's very rare that there are, we have a career and a passion that is both, a passion and a fantastic paying career, like maybe tennis, like Federer. But, where it meets.
One in a million. Yeah.
But many of us may not have that option. So if your passion is not able to feed you as much, it's up to you to ensure your body is fed. So I say this, if you have to be able to do what you want to do, but also doing what you need to do so that you can continue doing what you want to do. And that is where I say,
Beautiful.
your two careers is possible. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do both, because I think life cannot be an either or option. We are limitless. We can do multiple things. Let anyone tell you that you have to have only one. It's not that. It's don't allow that to enter your mind space.
Very nice. Such a powerful statement there. They say, live every day like it's your last day. I have personally, it's a very aspirational statement, and I have personally kind of, trying to live like this. But for you, this actually happened. We are all facing a big crisis today. See, for Corona, and unsure of what lies ahead of us. But in 2008, you faced something far bigger. Can you tell us about it?
Ah, yes, 2008, before I left for this conference to America, a dance conference, um, I felt a lump in my breast, and I went for the mammogram, gave the results, gave it to Jayant, my husband, and I flew off. I came back after 2 weeks, and I found Jayant waiting outside in Mumbai. We were flying in from Mumbai, and I said, "Kya, wow, wow, kya, how romantic is that?" He sees me in Mumbai, that's so cute. And after 17 years, that really is romantic. So, and then, and then of course, he broke the news that yes, the test was malignant. And of course, I was angry, I was irritated, I was frustrated, I was absolutely, I was distraught, to be very honest. So on the 1st of July, 2008, I was sitting in my doctor's chambers, Dr. Raghuram's chambers, and I heard words. I heard other words, and I heard words that this test, of course, was correct. And he threw me words that we always believe belongs to someone else. I heard the word carcinoma. I then heard other words: cancer, stage, grade. But until then, cancer was my good friend Padmavati zodiac sign. Stage is what we all dance on, and grade is what I did not get in school, but or got in school. Let me be honest. But that day, those words took extraordinary meanings and had different connotations. So I was. I asked him, do I need to come into this right now, or will you give me some time? He said, no, you need to get in right now. So on the way back, I shed copious tears. I wept copiously, and I asked Jayant, is this the end of the road? Not so much as in life, but is this the end of the road of my dance? Like all of us are dancers, so our first space is, hello, what happens to your dance? And he, being the most positive person in my life, he said, just take this break, take this hiatus that you talked about, take this hiatus, and you'll be back. So I pulled myself up, wiped my tears, and declared to the world at large. You've seen my drawing room. I sat there and I said, I will ride it out. I will not allow cancer to ride me. Then I made an affirmation. The second affirmation, I said, I won't say why me. Because in 2007, when I got the Padma Shri, I never said why me. I said, thank you very much. So I said, no, why me? And the third thing I said is, cancer is one page in my life. It's not the book of my life. So these affirmations, I think, saw me through. And also at that point of time, I made the clear choice and decision that I was going to dance through it. Yes, it wasn't easy. It was difficult. But again, the choices that you made, the affirmations that you made to yourself, see you through. So I danced through it. I danced maybe not as much as I would have, because of course it had its own side. It had its own. But whenever I could, I would dance, and I engaged with dance in a different way also. More than performance, I did perform, but I engaged with it differently. And again, during chemo, I remember I was again very distraught. And Jayant told me, think of chemo as amritam, as nectar. It's cleaning you up, it's improving you, and it's changing you. And I grabbed it. You see, these are little things that happen around you. You should be able to receive it and allow it to happen to you. So when he said chemo is like amritam, and he said, why should chemo be sweet? It will have its side effects. I said, wow, look at that. So I think these messages and these help me transit through through a difficult, I won't call it horrible, a difficult phase like cancer. And I believe, Sneha, that as I said in the beginning, the business of life is to challenge us, and therein lies our greatest learning. And today we are all challenged by C for Corona, and it is time for us now to learn through this crisis rather than wallow in what it is throwing at us. It is pull back, find your strengths, find your blessings, look through the prism of those blessings, and find how you can learn and rework and reimagine and recreate your own self, because you're not just a small dancer, you're not just a small bureaucrat, you're human. You can do so many million things.
Absolutely, Akka. The power of the positive mind. Yeah, I mean, that brings actually, I've heard this story so many times, but it still gives me goosebumps every time. Um, so, uh, so this experience, almost like a near-death experience, right? It just changes everything. It makes you realize how impermanent life is and how you're just a mere mortal. And you suddenly get this big jolt, a reality check, and then you pause, you reflect, as you said, you reboot, you relearn, and in some sense, you even rebirth who you are. So, what did this break do to you? I'm asking this because a lot of us, are faced with this forced break right now, and we don't know what, and unsure of what lies ahead of us. So, what sort of happened during this break? What gave you the strength, and how did this hiatus, shape the rest of your life? What do you think?
As I said, as human beings, as people who work in as artists as well as people in the workforce, I think we're all very goal oriented people. We all move from A to B. We're always goal oriented, right? Even as dancers, we're goal oriented. We move from program to program, right? Or from training to rehearsal to program. It's always goal oriented. But I have a different take on this. I believe that as human beings, we move between B and D. We are not moving between A and B. We are moving between B and D, which is birth and death. Not about I'm not sounding morbid, but that is the fact of life. We all come through this door and we'll all go out through that door, and thank God for it. So between B and D is the word alphabet C, which for me stands for choice. So that is why I keep saying choice. You are human. You have that extraordinary power of choice. That power of choice, which we need to constantly come back to, constantly be there and rework, and every moment, re-engineer, re-choreograph who you are to make those right choices. And I think for that, to make that right choice, please remember the choice comes from your mind, who you are, from your personality, from your mind, this intangible thing called the mind. We all make choices extraordinarily well when it is normal. But when it is difficult, we abdicate, we surrender, we completely give up that power, the facility and the felicity of choice that is so important for us. That's who we are. That is given up. We give it up very easily. So I think it's time now for all of us to learn that lesson, that you are a powerful source of energy as a human being. Your mind is a powerful source of energy, of direction. And let's make those right choices. Now is a choice. What my choice will not be the right choice for you, but make those choices of growing to be the absolutely wonderful person you're meant to be. Your mind is your final frontier. It is your final frontier. It's the frontier that you need to go past. So let the mind play for you. Let your own mind play for you. Train it to play for you. Let it not play against you. Invariably, the mind is such a monkey, it plays against you. So train your mind to play for you. I think that's important.
Yeah, so we all use this break to train our mind in some sense, right? So, Akka, let's come a little bit to the dance, right? So, as dancers,
right.
We are all always asked to push the bar, break that glass ceiling, but let me admit, there is a certain comfort in sticking to the known, and to the tried and tested, the Magam, for example. But you created Panchatantra, showcasing the timeless values and morals of the society and even laced in humor. And you created What About Me, focusing on gender issues. And almost 30 years ago, you presented Jonathan Livingston Seagull, based on a book, with an ensemble of dancers dressed in these cute leotards. I've seen that picture.
Right.
So what gave you the sea for courage to, push the bar in this direction?
Uh, as I said, see, as artists, we are constantly naturally creating new stuff. See, I have been trained by one of the world's greatest innovators, the greatest thinkers, and someone who pushed the bar of so many years ago, Rukmini Devi Arundel. When the world was doing Margam, she was doing production. She was doing something. If you see any of her productions today, it is something that we all, our jaws drop again. We all, our jaws drop. So I think that training helped. And yes, I have always believed, I have not allowed myself to believe that the word dance should begin and end with your grammar, or your framework. Your dance, yes, it is grammar. Yes, it is. That's what you start with. But after a point, it is your language. It is your personal poetry. It's your personal language that you put out there. So if I can speak Tamil and Telugu and Hindi and a bit of Sanskrit and English, then I can speak dance too. So while on my own personal journey, dance can be that spiritual growth and touching, all that is there. I'm not denying it. Yes, it happens, but it's also my language to reach out to the world outside. It could be something that bothers me. It could be something that I want to say. It could be something funny, or it could be something that tickled me, which is what happened with Panchatantra. So that's how it happened. Yes, yes, it can cause a lot of angst, believe me. In 1992, when I did Jonathan Livingston Seagull of Richard Bach, all of you have read the book. It's a book that, it's about it's a beautiful book. Go read it. I won't explain it now. I remember being invited by I.G. Parthasarathi Mami to Bharat Kalachar in Narada Gana Sabha. And all the gurus were there. My dearest Jaya teacher came backstage to look at me, and she looked at me in leotards, without my bindi, without my gungru, and I touched her feet, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm going to be like Hiranyakashipu. There's going to be so many Narsimhas I'm going to have my entrails out. But I said, it's all right, it's okay. But it didn't happen. We just put in our best. We did whatever we had. We did our best. And someone of the likes of K.S. Mahadevan, who was one of the senior most, art critics, gave me such a glowing write-up. So I think we worry too much. I think we worry too much. We box ourselves in. And if you get a bad review, so what? So what? It's just one review. You can go on. You can clean it up. It's fantastic feedback. Clean it up and do something better. So I think expand yourself, expand your art in as many ways as you can.
Beautiful. A great message to all the young dancers. Expand your art out there. So, okay, last question before we move on to Manodharma.
We're almost okay.
Yeah. So I just want to say, audience, if you have any questions, this is a good time for you to put it in there. So we probably will have time for a couple of questions in the end. All right. So, Akka, did you foresee this lockdown and anticipate that home practice is going to be a regular part of our lives? Because is that why you created Natyarambha? Tell us this.
If I could foresee like that, I'll be Ma Anandamai. No. I still remember how Natyarambha came about, Sneha. I remember calling you up one early morning where this was a time when almost everything, apps were all over the place. This is, I think, 2012 or even earlier. And everything happens over coffee in my house. So over a cup of filter coffee, I said, Jayant, hey, why should we not do a dance app? And he said, okay, go for it. He's been my biggest supporter in so many ways. So I remember calling you up and we created this. So this was 2012. Why did we create this Natyarambha, this app? We had it because I felt there was a gap between dance class and home practice. A dance class and practice at home, and there was nothing. It was only bridging the gap, not coming between the gurus. You know how many discussions we went through. Yeah. And there was a lot of iterations that happened, a lot of back and forth that happened. Finally, Natyarambha came out only in 2017 January. Sonal Mansinji launched it for us, which means that actually, yes, technology is the way forward, as we know now. But you have to engage with it intelligently. You have to bring it to such
gracefully,
a path, gracefully, intelligently, and not allow it to change the formats of the other parts of your life. So that is important. And yes, it's worked. It's working, and that's why we are here.
Yes.
And it's all thanks to you. You're the one behind it.
No, Akka. I mean, so much of the vision. In thinking forward. Okay. So Akka, now I'm coming to my favorite section, the Manodharma.
Oh dear.
All right. So quickly, I had to really work hard to choose only like 5 questions. So let's do this.
Okay.
But you have to answer quickly.
Right.
What's the first thing you cooked for your husband?
Gulab jamun.
Okay, I'm gonna cross check right after this.
Please do it. Dan, please save me.
Okay, what's your dream location to perform in?
A dream location to perform in South Bank someday. London.
Okay. What's the most expensive gift you've ever received?
Expensive gift I've ever received is it's not expensive, it's beyond expensive. My husband.
Yeah, trick answer. Okay. So if you were allowed to name a train after you, allowed to name a train, what would it be called?
A train?
Yeah.
A train after me. Okay, we'll call it a train to happiness.
Oh, wow.
Train to joy.
Good one.
Or maybe Dancing with Joy. Maybe we'll have this train. Ministry of Railways, please, are you listening? Let's name the next train Dancing with Joy.
Yes, absolutely. Why not?
They'll chew me up for it. Yeah.
So, okay, the question was, if you do take another birth, what would you want to be?
Okay, I got it. If I had another birth, what would I be? Right? Is that your question?
Yes.
I have a lot of births to come back to. I want to. I want to be a Carnatic musician and a Veena player. And I think, no. First, I want to be a tennis player.
Yes.
So I might be a Veena player who also plays tennis.
How lovely is that?
How interesting is that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Right. Your favorite word to titify your students?
Sambar.
The world has to know this. What is the story? What is the story?
Because that's the sweetest word I can use against you. You're all my daughters, you're all SK daughters. So I can't call you anything, bad. So Sambar is such a cute name. I mean, you can't get upset with Sambar. It it's just another word.
Okay, so sweet. All right, so we move on to the section 2, which is
Right.
mood, mudra, and metaphor.
Right.
So let me try. So answer this in mood. Hot chocolate in Switzerland.
We were all almost drunk on that hot chocolate, I remember.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. A 45-minute Varnam. What about Jayant during a 45-minute Varnam?
Oh, he's in Kamath eating idli and having his coffee. He hates Varnam.
Yeah. All right. So next one is answer in mudra. Tennis.
Tennis. I want to be there.
Okay. Railways.
Railways. It holds me together. Holds me together.
All right. So the last one is answer in metaphor. India.
India, Atmanirbhar.
Oh, you have a new buzzword there.
No, but it is
Okay.
true. It is true because we are naturally self-reliant. And
Mhm.
as dancers, we are born self-reliant. We are trained to be self-reliant. We grow into self-reliance. And now is the time to continue to stay in that self-reliant space. So I think it's good to reiterate it. Stay self-reliant. Atmanirbhar.
Yeah. Yeah. Akka, what would be the metaphor for your life story?
Metaphor for my life story, as I said, dancing with joy. That's always been my life. I try to be happy and joyful in every part of my life. So that is the thing. Um, and I think that should be my legacy. If I want to say, it's not about being a dancer, it's not about being an officer. The legacy I want to leave, hopefully, will be that state of being in joy all the time.
Enjoy all the time. Beautiful, beautiful.
This is your time. I'm going to look at my points and my memory cards because there's so much I want to share and leave with you. This is a time to actualize. It's your time to think big. It's your time to believe. It's your time for belief. It's your time to remember that belief triggers the power to act. It's your time to change the process of how you think. Believe in yourself. Don't underestimate yourself. Know your value. Value your value. And more importantly, don't let this fever of excusitis. We all have excuses. We need a vaccine for excusitis. Please find that vaccine. Don't let that excusitis get under your skin. Embrace change, embrace risk, because that's really what's happening now. Don't fight against it. Don't push against it. Remember, your mind is a servant of belief. Believe success, it will be yours. Believe defeat, that too will be yours. Because the mind is a good pizza boy, it will deliver whatever you want. So please remember to train your mind correctly, and stop the whispering self-doubt, which most artists are thrown at. And also, I also believe in another little thing, which I believe in the 3Ds. It says my it's critical to my life. It's do it, delegate it, or drop it. So make that part
Wow.
of your life if you can. Define what success means to you. Don't let it not be success as per someone else or what society wants. Define that success for yourself. Again, a reiteration of train your mind to play for you, not against you. Ensure that you deposit positive thoughts. It's like a bank. That's what you can dip into. Don't deposit negative. Look at things as what they can be and not as what they are. Push the bar, push the boundary of your vision. So this is for all of us going through COVID. Push the boundary of what will happen later. Do that. Avoid the naysayers, of course. Focus. You're all dancers. You know how to focus. Let your ideas not escape. Let cultivate it, fertilize it, grow it. Even Cerelac and the Mars mission happened with an idea. So don't let your ideas escape. This is a time to fertilize and grow your ideas. Be the path breaker you all are. We all are naturally are. Remember, setbacks and challenges and obstacles are only a state of mind. Be like water. When water passes, when it finds a rock, it goes around it or it goes over it. Be that in your life. This is what I have learned through my life. Create the legacy that you want, decide on it, push the boundary, peel as much as you can, and define your purpose and define your core strength. Remember, I believe that your inner choreography is most important. And I've always said this: leadership is a choice you make, success is a choice you make, happiness is a choice you make. So make that choice, make that C for choice as an important part of every aspect of our lives, because heaven on earth, as my favorite writer Wayne Dyer said, heaven on earth is not a place you must find, but a choice you must make. So make that choice, C for choice.
Beautiful, Akka. Beautiful. So we just have one question, maybe if you want to
Perfect.
quickly take that. So Srinivas Murthy sir, who I had the question yesterday as well, he's come back and he's
Right.
asking you which temple inspires you the most and why.
I think for me, the temple is Tirumala Annamacharya because of the exquisite poetry that I have been privileged to be able to listen to and perform, created by Venu Madhav, whom we all miss, who passed on last year. So I think when I go to Tirupati, there is a special energy, a special blessing, and the poetry of Annamacharya. I think all this put together. I think I grow into being someone else. Annamacharya, Tyagaraja, and of course Ramadas. So three different Telugu poets. I'm Tamil by birth, Telugu by soul. So there's a huge Telugu love I have. So
Oh, I missed that question, didn't I? I think
yeah,
it's been wonderful, Akka, listening to you and your life story. And as you rightly said, we had to have your story on Punarnava, and it would be incomplete without that. So I'm going to hand off to you to close. But before that, I just wanted to make one observation. I think during this break, there's of course C for Corona, but there's been something much bigger, that's C for community.
right,
As
right,
dancers, I think we have sort of come together more than ever before, and all these individual bubbles have burst suddenly.
which is
People are
so
watching each
beautiful.
other. Yeah, I mean,
Right,
we're sharing so
right.
generously. So, do you think this will continue? Like, what changes do you want to see this in the pre-COVID art world and the, before Corona and after Corona?
Yeah, I think what really has happened is fantastic, as you rightly said. Suddenly there's this extraordinary feeling of community. The seniors are watching the youngsters are watching the seniors. The field has been democratized. There's less of hierarchy. And I'm enjoying that. I'm really enjoying the phase because the you youngsters out there are extraordinarily imaginative. You're extraordinarily talented, and you're all our tech gurus. We've all been learning from all of you. So I think it's for you all to come together, put your very intelligent heads together to figure out how we can continue to engage with arts in its entirety, until of course we get back on stage, and marry technology in a beautiful way. Already many people are doing extraordinary work, extraordinary beautiful work, and sky is not the limit. There are a million things we can do, but yes, let's hold hands, metaphorically, uh, across the internet, across the channels. Let's hold hands for each other. Let's support each other. Let's really, really be the shoulder for each other, because this is fantastic for the community. Perfect time for the community to reinvent itself, to regenerate itself, to re-choreograph itself, and to really be the leaders, to be right up there in front, to be the leaders of the art world. I think we are on the path. We just need to get our hands together a little more.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Akka. Thank you for having this
I should be thanking
conversation
you.
on
So I'll thank you, Sneha, for putting me under the
yeah,
microscope.
yeah.
Literally put me under the microscope in such a beautiful, thoughtful, fun, and friendly way. Thank you for being on screen. You're always so shy to be on screen. Thank you so much. And thank you also for being the architect of all that we're doing on Natyarambha, backstage, off screen, sorry. We are so used to saying off screen. Thank you, everyone, who are out there. Thank you for your support for Punarnava. Thank you for your support for Natyarambha. Thank you for being there for all of us. Again, I will leave you with some thoughts. Let's all grow together into the role model we think we are. Let's grow into the role model we wish to be, and let's grow into the role model we all can be. On that note, remember, the business of life is to challenge us, and therein lies our greatest learning. We've all been challenged, and let's all hold hands together to ride out this challenge and come out as extraordinary artists, as extraordinary citizens of this planet, and as extraordinary human beings. I think that should be the pathway for us. Let's keep it. Let's keep growing. Let's keep learning. Let's stay safe, stay home, and make the right choices. Let's make the choice for renewal, rejuvenation, relearning, and regrowth. So on that note, I will sign off with this beautiful Telugu poem once again on the 4-day series of Punarnava. You've been hearing different poems. If you like it, DM us. We will post it on our, you can, perform for it maybe. So thank you, Natyarambha, my own Natyarambha. Thank you all of you for being here at Punarnava. Thank you,
Yes.
Sneha, once again. Thank you to all my previous speakers, Dr. Sonal Mansingh, Rama Bharadwaj, Naitaratnam, for being here. And I will close with ఖండితమై వృక్షంబు తిరిగి మొలచినట్లు క్షీణుడైన సోముడు అభివృద్ధి చెందినట్లు పునర్నవం సహజం సహజం లోక సామాన్యం తిమిరాంతకమై జ్యోతి ప్రకాశించినట్లు. Let us learn from nature, which regrows like the plant, which grows back like the moon every month, that brings light like the lamp that brings light to darkness. Let us rejuvenate, relearn, regrow. Thank you. Let us enjoy Punarnavam. Thank you.